Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 633 of the Drunk Nerds podcast. I'm, as always, I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Well, you know what? A lot of things happened this past week. A lot of fun stuff, some sad stuff, but at the same time, I'm very happy to be playing a bunch of video games and also recording for tonight. So that's the most important thing of all. But to give a grand scheme of things, yep, Oakland had their last homestand and stuff for the Oakland Athletics. That team is pretty much, there's a lot of uncertainty. They plan on moving to Vegas, but at the same time, they're going to be 3 years in a Sacramento stadium, which is even like smaller
Yeah,
than the Coliseum, which is
it's a minor
hilarious to
league
me.
team.
Yeah, a minor league team stadium, the old River Cats stadium, which was funny because I used to be the farm team for the Oakland A's. But other than that, though, a bunch of gaming going on this past week, and pretty much from the usual suspects. I mean, I did play a lot of Vampire Survivors, and then I did play a lot of another game, which I will say on the podcast here when we get to what we've been playing. But other than that, though, yeah, man, I'm getting fairly excited. October's coming. We got a whole bunch of game releases coming on
Yeah,
over into the pipeline. I mean, have a couple of important ones, including Silent Hill 2 remake that is going to be coming out fairly soon, like another week or so.
October 8th, I want to say.
Okay, so like another two
Yeah,
weeks.
week and a half. Yeah.
But other than that, though, how have you been doing, Tyler?
I'm all right, clanging and banging as always. Been just another fun, boring week, of not really doing a lot, still out with the broken foot. So,
Mm,
I was supposed to get supposed to initially when I got my surgery, this was the week I was supposed to get my boot taken off. Uh,
uh-huh.
right now I'm not allowed to walk on my heel, so I have to walk on my tippy toes on my right foot. And I'm like, oh, okay, it was supposed to be 4 weeks, but they said, well, let's do 6 weeks to be safe. I'm like, I'm gonna try to walk on my heel, see what happens. Oh no, 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 no.
No,
It
no.
hurt really bad. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. It was just like, you ever like unplug something and actually kind of like shock yourself? You get like that
Yep,
jolt of electricity through your body. It was
yep,
like that, but like just sheer pain that shot from the bottom of my foot all the way up to like my thigh. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like nearly
yep.
nearly took me out. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? I should probably listen to the doctor. Maybe they know what they're talking about. So, but I was a little curious. I'm like, hey, it was, I'm like, all right, 4 weeks. I'll try it out. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna keep wearing my boot like I'm supposed to. I don't have it on right now because I'm sitting. But yeah, I'm just like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna keep that off. I'm gonna keep that on until I have an appointment in like 2 weeks. Hopefully, I'll be able to take it off then. But I'm doing okay. Just been playing and banging and not playing too many video games. I've been watching a lot of TV. It's just going like on a TV, like just kind of you get in those moods where you just start binge watching stuff and
Mm.
watching a lot of. I watched a bunch of Netflix shows. I watched the entire Vince McMahon documentary. Um, watched a rom com called Who Wants This. That was actually really really good. It's on Netflix as well. Watched it. It's like 10 episodes, like 30-minute episodes. I watched it all in like one sitting. It was a good show. I enjoyed it for what it was. Sometimes you see to watch like a little nice little kind of cheesy rom com. So it's good. Yeah, but just stuff like that. Watch a lot of like horror movies. I'm getting to the horror movie um, kind of feelings. We're
Oh,
getting to that time of year, so I've been watching a lot of horror movies and horror stuff. So I'm enjoying that. Looking forward to Until Dawn remake comes out next week. So I
oh,
am
that's right. That
yeah, I think
does.
it's like Thursday or Friday. My copy is not going to show up on time though, so I'm gonna like I think I will probably won't get it till the week after. But
Mm.
yeah, still I'm looking forward to playing that. And then yeah, Silent Hills just a few days after that. So I plan on picking that up as well. I was thinking about I told you about that Metaphor Refantasio demo is out,
Yeah.
and I was like
Mm-hmm.
the first like I think it's like 4 or 5 hours, and that whatever you play carries over to the main game, and I was gonna
Yeah.
play it, but I was like I'm not gonna do it, Gables. I'm not gonna play it because the problem is there's like either I'm not gonna like it or the worst case scenario I do like it and I want to play the game. And it's like I don't want to play this gigantic game. I just played Persona 3 Reload like a couple months
Mm.
ago, and that game
Mm.
even with me being home stuck on a couch all day took me like a month and like 80 something hours to beat. Uh,
That's the typical Persona game on your first playthrough.
yeah, so this game is gonna take me an asinine amount of time, I'm sure, to play through. And we're talking about we're in October now. There's a we're close to October, so there's a ton of games that in October that I want to play. Like I said, Until Dawn, Silent Hill 2, Neva is in there somewhere.
Mm.
Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Dragon Age is coming out as well. So a bunch of there's a bunch of games that like I'm gonna play, and some of these are gonna take a decent chunk of time. And I'm like, no, there's just no chance. So maybe that's a game like what sucks because it's like the perfect time for like me being stuck at home. This is like the time I would play that because like Persona 3 would be a game I never would have played that game if me being hurt wouldn't have happened. But it's like man, if this game would have came out in like July, I would have played. I would definitely have played it. But October, no, not a chance, not a chance in hell. So yeah. But anyways, this is a video game podcast where Gables and I get together and talk about video games and everything we love and hate about them, everything in between. We're two guys we do this for fun. We've been doing this for over 11 years now. We just like I said, we don't make money off of this. We paid money, a lot of money to do this over the years. So like we don't ask for money. We just ask for some of your time. And then if you can, if you click to the button, if you can hit the 5-star reviews, shares, subscribes, follows. We're on YouTube, so if you're listening to us somewhere, please click over our YouTube channel. We're really trying to push that. We hit every metric except for we need more subscribers. We're at like 450 something right now, so we're getting really close to being able to actually make some money off of like ad revenue and stuff. So even if like
Wow.
maybe Gables and I could buy like a fucking coffee from Starbucks once a year or something for free. That'd be great.
That'd be
So
fine.
yeah. So if you guys can help us out, if you listen to us, even if, like you can just just hit subscribe and just ignore us. I don't care. But help us out if you can. But yeah, 5-star reviews, leave comments, share it to friends, all that fun stuff. We're on Twitter, Facebook, everything else as well. So there's links down below in the description. So if you want to click on that, make it a lot easier for you. But yeah, anyways, Gables, let's get into some of the news going on this week.
Right.
I would say a little, I maybe kind of pump myself up a little bit, even though I probably knew I shouldn't, but it's just like, I don't have a lot distracting me being stuck at home. So just I was thinking about TGS. So I was like kind of hyping myself up a little too much probably for maybe what was coming this week. And like, you do that thing where like, the odds of like Nintendo showing like the next console is slim, but you start to convince yourself otherwise, and like, oh, like Xbox might be doing something cool here, Capcom might be doing something cool here, and like we knew the state of play was coming, but I was just like I kind of like hyped myself up maybe a little too much, just because I was thinking about it so much, but ended up being maybe not as big of a week as I thought, but still some news that came out. Starting off here with the PlayStation State of Play. It's about 30 something minutes long. I did a live react to it on our YouTube channel, so if you want to check that out, it'd be really cool. Hit the thumbs up on that one as well. Start off here. We got with Astro Bot. They announced there are 5 new speedrun levels coming sometime this fall. There will be 10 new robots. We know for a fact that the Helldiver and Eve from Stellar Blade will be 2 of them. And there was, I guess, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I guess a patch that came in recently for the game added some companies to the the credits, and but those company developers, publishing companies, and there's no bots from any of those companies in the main game. So people I think are expecting that these are probably the DLC bots that are going to be in this. And they also kind of mentioned that that's not all they have planned. So I think some people maybe they're like personally, like if they're making an Astrobot 2 or whatever they're going to call it, I kind of, I don't want anything more from them. Like just put that in the next game. I don't, but like part of me also is like, fuck yeah, I'll play it. I'll like give it like $10 for another world or something. I'm definitely in for that. So they announced that that's coming sometime this fall. I know, Gables, I mentioned like I literally all I have to do is beat the last level. But are you excited to, I guess speedrunning is not really my thing, but like I'm down to just like, I'm going to play them. What about you?
Well, let's just say that I do have plans on playing that.
Okay. All right. Well,
But I will go into some more information with what we've been playing. But I am fairly excited upon those initial speedrun levels.
all right. Very cool. Very cool. Next up here, the Midnight Walk. This is from the team that made Lost in Random. People don't remember this. Like it was a EA original game that came out a couple of years ago, and like it had a really cool style, very claymation, like much like this one. This is coming to PSVR 2, but also will be able to play like on main consoles. I remember Lost in Random like came out like very like really cool style, everything. I was really pumped for that game, and the reviews kind of came out and it was kind of middling. But they announced that there's no date for that, but so not this year. And Gables, if you want to jump in, some of these we could probably skim through. And if there's any that you want to jump in, just interrupt me.
Yeah.
Next up here, Hell Is Us is I guess this is the gameplay reveal. I don't remember this game, but I guess it was revealed at like Summer Game Fest, I think it was, or Gamescom maybe, like in
Huh.
2022, but I don't remember it. But this is like the gameplay
I
reveal.
don't.
I guess that one was like just like a CG cutscene or whatever. Um, but this kind of looked like a almost like a Souls like, but like almost like futuristic style. Like kind of like I had like a drone and stuff like that, like or at least like a maybe not Souls like, but it has a it's a third person action adventure game. But kind of the big thing here, so that kind of came out. So this is being made by the studio Rogue Factor. A lot of these people are like former Deus Ex developers. This is like their first big game. There's no release date, nothing like that. But the big thing about this that they're pushing, I guess, in a blog post afterwards, is like this game is like they kind of like this is going back to like for people that don't want to like it's I don't know, I thought the way it's kind of written kind of like kind of a douchey kind of sounding a little bit personally, but basically talking about how like this game is going to hold your hand. There's no like when you like talk to people, you don't get like a little icon on a map. You got to go figure it out yourself. You got to actually listen to the people and you got to read the notes, stuff like that. It's like I don't know. I guess like personally, I like that to a certain extent. Like we've seen games like kind of you can kind of turn that off to a certain like with
Mm.
accessibilities and stuff. Like we've seen like some of like the Ubisoft games like Far Cry and stuff like that. Like turn off like you can actually make it so you can do stuff like that. But this like it's very much like kind of like a hawk to as the people that like like start complaining that people are complaining like maybe games are too handholdy or like they just kind of like you go talk to somebody like for a side quest and it just shows up on your map. You go there and do the thing. This is like all about. They say this is all about like you got to go find the things yourself. There's no hand holding here. Um, there's talking about like there's no we're not giving you stuff on a silver platter. It's a player platter. That's what they're calling it, I guess. I don't know, but
Okay, so basically what you're saying is they're incorporating certain game design and like player discovery aspects as of what things were, I would want to say way back as like the 1980s in terms of game design.
yeah, I like yeah. So it's like I get what they're going for. I think the way it was kind of worded kind of came off a little like like smug
Right,
maybe.
right.
And like I don't know. It's like it sounds cool when you say it, but I think for most people like obviously we're the hardcore when it comes to gaming. And like yeah, like maybe people like us, like that's yeah, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. But it's like to me, it's like honestly, like I think most people, most the average Joe, and even like to myself, it's like that's cool. But I feel like after like 10 hours of like me one, if I spend like an hour trying to figure out something, I'm like fuck this. Like I'm just getting frustrated. I'm like there's 50 million other games I want to play. I'm not gonna like waste my time doing some shit like this. So
Okay, so for that type of aspect, though, especially for Hell is Us and stuff, I mean, that's definitely a double-edged sword because, sure, you're going to appeal to like a subset of gamers to where they want that type of stuff. They want that hardcore sort of challenge, or they want that sort of aspect to where they want to try to figure things out just basically through trial and error and stuff, and they have that initial time to where they can divulge inside of that stuff. But for including like every bit of the audience that you want to get for a specific game and stuff. The last thing you want to try to do is like if you're trying to like appeal to everyone is trying to isolate a subset of people like the subset of gamers in general that just want to go turn on the game, enjoy how to play this stuff. But what I will say is like I am appreciative that they are making a style of game like
yeah,
this. I mean, go all in with what you want to do and stuff like that. I mean, they're not readily just going through and just crapping on other people or other gamers and stuff for like playing a specific style. Am I correct?
there's more so a little bit yeah, and more like knocking other developers for doing stuff like this. But like
Oh, I see.
to me it's like you are like they're going for a certain type of audience and like hey more more to you on that one. I'm not like I don't have a problem with them doing it. I thought the messaging was just kind of like kind of came off a
I
little like
see.
you kind of probably could have worded it a little better and maybe it was just like the tone in my head when I was reading it. But I was just like, I don't know, the way it just kind of was worded, like maybe you could have, yeah, I don't know, give it a once over. But like I said, I don't have a problem with them doing it. But it also is like you are limiting your audience with this. So I mean, there's a reason why a lot of
Well,
there.
yes, it's definitely limiting the audience. But what I was referring to in terms of like a double-edged sword and stuff, I mean, that type of game design and stuff is fine and stuff like that. But the end result is you're going to have the other side of this sword to where it's going to be probably incredibly frustrating to try to figure out this current things. I mean, even with gameplay and like game style from that type of gaming architecture back as far back as say the NES generation and stuff like that, there are some people that are going to have plenty of patience to want to try to do that stuff, but at the same time, even for the people that they're aiming towards building this game around, some of them are just probably going to just play this game for like 10 minutes, like, what the hell am I supposed to be
Yeah.
doing here? Or like, what? I didn't even get that I was supposed to be doing this to accomplish this. But at the same point, it's like kind of like how games were back in the day. I mean, that's how people missed playing through and enjoying games from back when, even though they were considered classics, is because there were certain aspects of the gameplay that was sort of a barrier that kept them from
Yeah.
enjoying it. And part of that is that whole question of, okay, how the hell am I supposed to do this? I can't figure out how to get to this. This game is not telling me through visual cues or through NPC dialogue and stuff. Well, most famously, like I say, in Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest from way back when, which that was an issue. You couldn't trust the NPCs, so the visual cues would not give as accurate of like information of what you need to do next,
Yeah.
especially when you need specific important
Zelda
like
2.
items, especially with Zelda 2 as well. I mean, a lot of trial and error and stuff. I mean, that these are basically games you needed guides for because of how vague a lot of the in-game thing told the player or tried to let the player figure it out through subtle hints, but that's just kind of extreme sort of spectrum.
Yeah.
Inside of modern gaming that we're having right now, you can do a game in that type of a style, but it's going to be curious to see how they're going to aim like Hell Is Us in that kind of attribute, like that type of retrospect,
Yeah.
because there is a fine line to where you can appeal to they can appeal to their audience if they want, but they can't risk going through and making it so like verbose or so like vague to where they're turning off the vast majority of the people that they're aiming for.
Yeah.
So my biggest curiosity is how well are they going to achieve this?
Yeah, I mean, like to me, like, and I get like, hey, creator, like, let artists make art. I'm not trying to like, I'm like I said, I'm not trying to be too negative on it. Like my negativity is like
Yeah.
the messaging to it, like but like yeah, there's the people like there's like people like those kind of games. There's nothing wrong with that, and like people like
Yeah.
checklist games. There's a reason
Yeah,
why like
very true.
Far Cry games and Horizon and games like this that just have like a million things. Like I don't like, I find them like overwhelming sometimes. They give me anxiety. But like people like there's people that think this is their shit. Like they just want like cool. I'm gonna go to a new area map. 50 things popped up. I'm gonna go fucking knock them all out. There's people that love that
Well,
type of
yeah,
stuff.
people love doing that because that gives them a sense of accomplishment. It's sort of similar to if they're on the job or something and they're trying to occupy themselves to go through like an 8-hour shift and stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm standing up here at a cash register all day. What can I do to entertain myself since I don't have too much like people to help here? Well, I get to clean and do this. I get to sweep. I get to go through and just wipe down a whole bunch of things. I get to wipe off shelves, recategorize certain things. It's that type of stuff that some gamers love to do inside of those checkbox sort of points, like say in those like older Ubisoft games and like for other open world games to say, okay, I've done everything right here to get the most out of a situation here.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Like I hope like if the game is good enough, I mean people might play it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see on that one. But next up here we have some VR stuff coming on. Metro Awakening VR is coming November 7th. The PSVR 2, but I believe it's also coming like MetaQuest and stuff as well. But um, yeah, it sucks. First fucking Metro game is a goddamn VR game. I love Metro, but I'm not playing that. Another game we have here is Arc Age Chronicles. I guess this is um, it's like a fantasy multiplayer game. Um,
Hmm.
I believe it's already out like on other platforms. I don't know. It's coming into PlayStation though in 2025. I don't know. Nothing about this wowed me. Um, the big news, Gables here. Pal World is officially coming to PlayStation 5. It is out
Hmm.
now. It is not coming to Japan though, as of right now, but it's coming everywhere else. So, uh, yeah,
Understandable.
probably a smart move. It's like, why are we making more money to give to Nintendo? Next up here, Lunar Remastered is coming. This is yeah, so it's coming early next year. This is a bundle that includes Lunar Silver Star Story and Lunar Eternal Blue. It's coming to PS4 and PS5 as well. So yeah, spring 2025 is a plan for that one. But kind of cool.
Yeah,
Cool to see
I
like
am
this is
fairly
happening.
excited about this one.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there. So, for those of us that played games for quite a long while and stuff, especially those that played like plenty of RPGs growing up when and stuff. Lunar has always been that type of series that has pretty much for some gamers been like on the outsiders looking in and stuff. You always see either the box art, you always see kind of like not just the box art, but like some bits of the gameplay and stuff, the whole animated cutscenes and stuff. You probably see from time to time, like on certain programming or even like through YouTube and stuff. I know that for the background, Lunar, like the first game and the second game, I believe, was on Sega CD way back when. So that was remastered, I think, in portions to the PlayStation.
Mm.
So like Silver Star Story also had like a kind of like a remaster thing on the PSP as well. I
Huh.
had a chance to play some bit of that way back when, but I'll tell you what. As soon as I saw that be released, when that lady or someone was commentating, is like, yeah, we're bringing back two like classic like RPGs on the PlayStation. I'm thinking, okay, what are they gonna bring back? And the moment Lunar hit and stuff, I'm like, oh crap, they're bringing back Lunar. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And honestly, I like that it's just sort of like a up-res version of like both games and stuff, and both of them bundled together and stuff because I don't care if they're gonna be like doing it that way as long as it's bringing it back to a modern platform so that people can go through and have a chance to play and enjoy these games. Because I know for a lot of gamers, including myself, I've always wanted to give a shot to both of these games, but at the same time, cost was definitely the issue because the price and the barrier for that, especially getting the PlayStation ports, not easy. Some of those games can go like on the used market for I want to say 75 to over a
Mm.
100 if it's
Yeah.
complete. We're not talking about disc only. We're talking about inside the jewel case and probably the manual. I may be wrong, but at the same time, both Silver Star Story and Eternal Blue, those PlayStation copies are like sought after in that sort of aspect. But what I am liking is they got like some remastered graphics. There's definitely, well, obviously saving's going to be a lot easier in terms of that. But I'm kind of curious if they're going to do a thing to where it's going to increase speed or maybe like turn off certain random battle stuff, like some of the conveniences that you have with some
Like
other
Final
like.
Fantasy does and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that works perfectly well for that because you can adjust speed, you can turn off random battles, so if you can just get through a section, especially if you're low on health, that could also be a great idea. But yeah, I'm really loving that. Once it comes out 2025, God, when I think about 2025 and like remasters and stuff, you basically got like a who's who of like PlayStation games that are coming out that are clustered in like, grouped in two,
Yeah.
which another one will be probably
Yeah. We'll talk about that here
spoken
in a
to
moment.
a
Yep.
little bit later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you
All
continue.
right. Next up here we have TMNT Shredder's Revenge DLC Radical Reptiles. That's out now. It includes
Hmm.
Mondo Gecko and Mona Lisa. So that's out now, and then like a remix of like some of the songs for the soundtrack. So that's
I
out.
thought was funny about those initial releases and stuff for the characters and stuff. These were like really obscure characters and stuff from like I think some of the later
I don't
seasons
remember
of
these.
TMNT. Well, obviously a lot of us don't. I mean, it didn't really hit me at first though, but I think those two were like in later seasons right before like near the end of that Turtle series because I know it went all the way through like season 9 in terms of like the entirety of TMNT as a series from like the late 80s all the way to like 92 or something like that. Or it may have been 96. I'm not sure. I think it's 96. But anyway, what I kind of like about this is like you have a chance to try out both like Mondo Gecko and Mona Lisa and stuff. But there's some arranged tracks from musicians or groups and stuff I'm kind of interested in hearing. And that one of them is Anamanaguchi. Anamanaguchi was the whole like kind of retro inspired sort of like chiptune sort of like band. But I know that you, Tyler, as well as I, have heard a little bit of their music playing beat 'em ups before, especially when you play like say Scott Pilgrim versus the
Oh
World.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's their music that just plays throughout that game and stuff.
Hmm.
That the whole music by Anamanaguchi, fantastic, sort of like chipset, chiptune sort of soundtrack to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that beat 'em up game released way back when in 2013 and one it's no like 2011, 2012 or something of that sort. But yeah, that free update and stuff is going to be a good like thing to just to jump back into playing TMNT.
Yeah. Next up here, we have Sonic Cross Shadow Generation. They announced that there'll be movie content coming with the game. There'll be a free bonus pack that comes December 12th that coincides with the movie coming out on that same day, Sonic 3. It includes a version, it's basically like, I think it's like a few levels where you play a Shadow, and it's
Mm.
like based off of the movie, and Keanu Reeves does actually voice Shadow in those levels. So.
Can I just say that it's incredibly weird hearing Keanu Reeves like voice a Sonic character like in the fucking video game?
It's weird because like I look at Shadow and he's basically the John Wick of the Sonic universe. I
That makes a hell of a lot of
I
sense.
see Lawrence Fishburne to yell, "Somebody get this man a gun!" For Shadow, and it all fucking makes sense.
You just hear like freaking Eggman just shouting that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Anybody. Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm a huge John Wick fan, so kind of makes me almost want like if he gets a gun, I might actually watch that movie, even though I hate that first movie
Oh
is
my god.
trash. Um, Next up here, Fantasia Neo Dimension. This was revealed, I believe, at like a Nintendo like third party or partner direct or whatever they're called
Hmm,
earlier
I
this
think so,
year.
yeah.
This is from like the original creator Final Fantasy. This was like an Apple Arcade game. It is coming to at least PS5 and Switch. This is coming December 5th. But yeah, I heard this game was like people that like basically people have like said this is a really great game, but it's been stuck on Apple. Now it's coming
Hmm.
to consoles, so people have been pretty excited about this one. Um, Next up, we had a really long like gameplay trailer of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Um, Basically a mission like where they were like fighting a dragon. Um, Honestly, like at this point, I'm already sold in the game. I to me like I don't me personally, I get why it's here, but to me like I have zero interest in seeing this. I'm just like I've already paid. This game's already bought and paid for me, and I'm just waiting for October 31st to get here. So
Yeah, I understand.
yeah,
I understand that, Tyler, and stuff. But I know when I was just watching that initial footage of it, the trailer, and then all of a sudden the gameplay stuff, I mean, it definitely didn't seem like it was my cup of tea, only because I kind of felt there was some aspects of the gameplay. I think this was kind of like a bad thing to kind of show in terms of gameplay wise for like this type of an event and stuff, because the battle they did choose, it kind of felt sort of generic in some aspects of it. I don't know why I got that sense though, but it's just like I think it's because we've had other types of games kind of a similar type that have had like other types of exciting, more intricate things for combat stuff for like an action RPG
yeah,
that made aspects of that stuff, but at the same time, it just felt kind of just I just kind of felt kind of turned off by it a little bit in terms of the combat.
yeah. Like
But that's just me though. I'm not never really been most into a Dragon Age sort of like game.
yeah,
I've tried playing the original, played the demo for two. I have bits of like Dragon Age Inquisition and stuff, and I have not played through the entirety of that. I don't think I even started that damn game, even though I've owned it for years at this point.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I'm happy to know. I mean, I'm happy that people are wanting to give this game a shot, and I hope you get a whole lot of fun out of that game, Tyler,
yeah.
because there probably is something deep inside there that is interesting and good in terms of the combat, in terms of whichever stuff that you like are looking for inside of this game.
Yeah.
But I just haven't really seen it yet.
Yeah, for me, it's like the gameplay of like I've beaten all the original, the first three, and all the DLC, and like to me, it's like the gameplay is always like the CRPG part of it. Like I've never really cared for it. Like, but it's been like
Right.
I loved everything else about the games that I've played through them in spite of like not really caring for the gameplay. And like I don't think they were terrible. Like I'm just not a CRPG guy. Um, and like but I don't know. So part of me like has me a little more excited because like it's a little more action based. But yeah, like
Right.
I don't know how good it's gonna be, but like even if it's like I think like I don't want to say mediocre, but even if it's like just solid or good, like that's an upgrade to me personally for not caring about CRPGs. So um,
Well, yeah, if the action RPG like aspect of it is like good, I think definitely going to be kind of it's definitely going to be kind of better in terms of like some bits of the combat than
yeah,
some of the things that came before.
yeah.
But yeah.
Next up though, Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. We got a little teaser for this one. It looks like we're going back to the FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control. This is
Mm,
like this is like where the video game control takes place at their offices.
right.
So this looks like it. Tying to that, looks like you might be going there. No idea if we're gonna play as Courtney Ford. I can't remember. What's weird is I remember the actress's name, but I don't remember the
Mm-hmm.
character that she played as in the game. I
Oh
don't know why
God.
that is. But
Must not be a memorable character
No, it's
then.
a great character. I remember I like the character enough. I remember the actress that plays the character. Like
Uh-huh.
Control's one of my favorite game, like one of the best games I think of last generation. I just can't for some reason I cannot remember her name. But I remember the actress that played the girl's name. But anyways, like obviously I love Alan Wake 2 last year. I actually I didn't buy the expansion, so but it was on sale for $13, so I just picked it up. This is coming in October. So I'm excited for this. I'm gonna go back and play Night Springs, probably this week. And then getting prepared for the lake house here sometime next month. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out because yeah, I'm a sucker for especially with like the Control and Alan Wake like combining universes and stuff. I'm all in for that. So that looked pretty great. Um, Hitman: World of Assassination is coming to PSVR 2 in December. Um, the big remaster you mentioned, Gables. We're getting Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
Mm.
That is coming December 10th to PS4 and PS5. So,
I'm actually rather excited about this, honestly. And I think that's mostly because these are games that I've heard through the grapevine. I've like being good games. I've seen them advertised in movies, not movies, but like in gaming magazines over the years. My very first gaming magazine I picked up, it was actually like a cover for Legacy of Kain Soul Raver back in EGM 97. I think it was either February or March of 97. I forget which. But the interesting thing about it is like I've been wanting to try to play the original game for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I tried looking for eBay auctions of it on the Dreamcast for quite a while, but now with this modern port that's going to be this modern remaster is going to be coming out later on this year. It bundles in the first game and the second game as one package. It is up-res visuals, which the visuals themselves kind of remind me of that Tomb Raider remake, that trilogy or something like that, that remaster stuff that we saw earlier on, I think this year. And I'm kind of wondering if like this is sort of like AI, sort of like up rendering or upscaling in terms going on here, because a lot of it kind of looks similar to some of the things that were inside that kind of like remastered sort of thing. But I can't really verify that,
yeah,
but what I'm saying is it definitely gives me the impression of like how I feel kind of like with the Lunar 1 and 2 here, where it's like I'm happy that this is coming out sort of like in this aspect. I'm basically at this point just happy if you give like me a bone in terms of these games I've always wanted to play but never could because of either price reasons or like just didn't have really the availability that I wanted to go through and purchase this stuff. But to give a little bit of a background, Legacy of Kain Soul Raver, that one is, I think, like a sequel or something like that of Legacy of Kain Blood Omened and stuff that was on the PlayStation. I know for a fact that Soul Raver was on PlayStation 1, it was on Dreamcast, I think it was on, I'm not too sure if it was on PC or not, but I know the first game's on PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast. The second game was only on PS2, but yeah, it just reaffirms to me like in the next couple of months and stuff, it's like you have Soul Raver 1 and 2, like classic games that are on PlayStation systems. You have Lunar, like Silver Star Saga and Eternal Blue, which were on PS1 and also Sega CD as well, but like still PlayStation classics. And then next year you have the whole Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, that stuff coming out. But yeah, the overall like kind of theme that I got from those initial announcements through this state of play and stuff is more of, oh hey, here's some classic PlayStation games that you remember loving and stuff like that. Hey, we have more than just you know than some things. Just forget about Concord here. Here's some classics things you like.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, but next up here, a game I'm incredibly excited for here, Fear the Spotlight. This is
Hmm.
back at Summer Game Fest. People maybe don't remember like Blumhouse, who makes a lot of really great horror movies.
Oh
They're doing
yeah.
they're now publishing games. This is the first one of the ones they showed off like 6 or 7 at Summer Game Fest. This is the first one. It looks like it's like PS1 graphics.
Yeah.
But it's coming out October 22nd. I am incredibly excited for this one, especially coming off like playing Crow Country back in
I
like
think it
May.
looks good.
Yeah, this game looks phenomenal. It's like two girls sneak into like a high school at night, and a bunch of shit goes crazy. But yeah, this game looks fucking awesome. This is a day, just another game in October that I'm incredibly excited for. Yeah, this game looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play it. Like pretty much everything they showed off, Blumhouse did earlier today looked great, and they're probably all gonna be like day one buys for me. But yeah, this was like probably the one that like stuck out the most for me. And the fact it's coming, the student is even better. Um, Next up here, Towers of Agashpa. We've seen this before at previous events. This is coming in early access in October as an online co-op game. Kind of gave me like almost like Shadow of the Colossus slash like Breath of the Wild vibes. I don't know, or like also like a survival game. I don't fucking know. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. It's like I'm not really too much interested in
Yeah.
it.
Next up here, they announced a Fortnite controller. You can start pre-ordering that on October 3rd. They also announced like there's like 3 other DualSense colors coming, and like the covers for your PS5 coming as well. I believe they're all October
Oh,
3rd.
the PS5 Slim ones, yeah.
Yeah. Next up here, Dynasty Warriors Origins. We got a release date. We've seen this before, but it's coming January 17th. So people of Dynasty Warriors will be excited.
Okay, so that's the first major release of 2025s. We're gonna have a origin story here of Dynasty
Yep,
Warriors.
yep. So hopefully, and there's an audience that love those games. So I'm excited for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next up, Monster Hunter Wilds. We got some more gameplay from that one. Continues to look phenomenal. Got a release date February 28th of 2025 for that
Ooh,
one. So
man, that's gonna be a good. Oh God, that's actually gonna make me more excited to want to try it though, because it's gonna be inside those winter months, and especially leading up to like spring. But man, yeah, everything I've seen with this game so far looks incredible.
yeah,
The gameplay, the look, the visual fidelity and stuff, like the whole exploring the terrain across like that whole wilderness and stuff, the changing of the seasons like rapidly. Just it just seems like it's an interesting game to go and just tinker around with.
yeah. Definitely looks phenomenal. I've tried Monster Hunter games in the past, and just recently, like in the last year or so, and I just never clicked for me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give this one a shot, or maybe I'll just like maybe I probably have like Monster Hunter Worlds or something for like PS Plus or something. Maybe I'll like try it out, see if it clicks for me. Play for a few hours, see if it clicks, and then maybe
Oh
I'll
yeah.
go to Wilds. I don't know. But the other ones that just haven't done it for me in the past. Next up, Lego Horizon Adventures. We got a release date for this one, November 14th. It's coming to the Switch, PC, and PS5. Pre-orders go up October 3rd. We don't have a price point yet for it, but like I saw it's like probably gonna be $50 to $60. I think $6 gives you like the deluxe edition, I believe.
Oh.
But yeah, so this is like yeah, so it's basically a Lego version of retelling the original game. Yeah, so that's coming out. But that date leaked a few weeks ago, so we've kind of known about that.
Mm.
But the other thing announced with it, the worst kept secret in gaming the last couple of years, Horizon Zero Dawn remastered. That is coming October 31st. There'll be a $10 upgrade for people that own it. A cool thing though that was confirmed. This is still a thing I totally forgot about is that during in 2020 when people obviously were stuck at home, they PlayStation did a thing where they were like giving people a bunch of free games during
Hmm.
like I think like springtime of 2020, and
Yeah.
so people that actually got the original Horizon Zero Dawn for free because of this, you could still do the upgrade for the $10. Um,
Now you see, I like the aspect that Sony did allow people if they own this game digitally or something like that, or even like physically or something,
yeah,
you could still do the upgrade and stuff for about $10. I mean, that's much more palatable in that retrospect as opposed to having to rebuy the
yeah,
game
full
for
price.
like 60 or 70
Yeah,
dollars full
I think it's
price.
$50 if you don't own it. Otherwise,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, like that's something that like anytime they do a remaster of a like a PS4 game, it's always been $10. Like Last of Us Part Two, Days Gone,
Yeah.
not Days Gone, um, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, stuff like that. They
Hmm.
always done that in the past. So I don't know. I'm more surprised about the date. Like I don't know. I know people like go up in arms about these remasters. I'm just like whatever. It's like it's coming out. Who cares? $10 upgrade.
Well, it is what it is and stuff like that. I mean, people There are definitely plenty of people that have not tried Horizon Zero Dawn yet. At the same time, in my personal feelings about it, it's like it's kind of like a moot point. Like I don't have really too much interest inside of like this whole initial re-release that they have and stuff with Horizon Zero Dawn, but at the same time, it's like I have the original game. I have it on my fingertips. If I really wanted to do and invest it into it and stuff, I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely not aimed towards me. This is aimed towards like people have never played Zero Dawn.
Yeah, and like someone like me, like I love Horizon Zero Dawn. It's my game of the year 2017.
Yeah,
I honestly like if it would have came out like maybe if it would have came out and there was nothing around it, I'd probably like oh yeah fuck yeah I'll just do a new game plus run again or something because I can do that fairly quickly.
yeah. Even like if they delayed it like for January of like 2025 or something like that. I mean that would have been a lot
Yeah,
much more palatable in my opinion than opposed to just okay, we're just gonna just toss it out randomly or something like that on the 31st of like
yeah, yeah.
October.
2 weeks before the like I maybe it's like they want to put it out right before the PS5 Pro comes out because the PS5 Pro is the week after. But it's like it's 2 weeks
Yeah,
before Lego Horizon Adventures, which also Lego Horizon Adventures is a retelling of the first game story. So I don't know. It's just very weird.
yeah, that doesn't make any sense, dude. It's like you have two games that have quintessentially the same story. I mean, told in different aspects.
Yeah,
One the original and the other one being Legoized kid version of it, and it's like,
yeah. I don't know. I'm more baffled by the release date more so than anything. But yeah, like I'm a huge fan of Horizon, but like I'm not itching to play the remaster again. Because I just replayed it like a year and a half ago. And then Lego Horizon Adventures, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Like as much as like I just don't like Lego games. Like unless like I'll probably wait and see what people are saying about it, and if like it's glowing. November is kind of like a pretty light month actually when you look at the game releases. So maybe I'll
oh,
check it out
November, yeah.
because of that. But like it's not like a game like at least right now. Like I'm not like like super pumped to play. Next up though, we're getting a Stellar Blade. We got some. They asked there's gonna be like a free update coming. They're adding a photo mode. So if you weren't horny enough, here's more for you. So and also on top of that, if you weren't horny enough, we're putting 2B in the game from Nier Automata. She is coming to the
You know
game.
what's kind of hilarious, Tyler, is the first thing I thought of when I saw this announcement and stuff, and especially with the crossover and Nier Automata, I automatically thought of you because you've played both of
They're
these games and
fantastic
you've beaten
games,
them.
but it's like
I
the
know.
two like horniest like the two horniest characters. Here they are, bam. Like they're together in one. It's funny too because like part of like I think the people like were really excited for Stellar Blade is because it kind of gave you Nier Automata vibes. So it's just funny.
And now that it has Nier Automata crossover inside
Yeah,
here, it's like this is like the perfect game for some of you
yeah.
guys.
So like part of me is like, man, I want to like. They did announce to putting the soundtrack out like on like streaming services, which is kind of cool because like a lot of that sound like there's some songs that I never want to hear again, but there's some fucking great ass songs in Stellar Blade. But yeah, like I actually really like Stellar Blade. Earlier this year, like it's actually a really really good game. And putting like near 2B in this is like pretty exciting. And they like showed the 2B or the Nier Automata world in this. Like it's not just
Hmm.
like so. Is this like not just a skin of 2B? Like you can play instead of playing as Eve, you can play as 2B. Like I have zero interest in that. But if like, are we gonna like I don't know. Like I cannot believe that we like they fucking Square Enix. God fucking damn it. They put 2B in every fucking thing that no one cares about. It's in every fighting game. It's in every like what like bullshit thing out there. They put 2B in there. But it's like kind of what Ubisoft does with like Splinter Cell. Like we're not gonna make a new Splinter Cell game, but we're gonna fucking put the characters from Splinter Cell in every fucking like crossover event that we could possibly think of. And like Nier Automata is this version of for Square. Like give me a goddamn Nier Automata 2. That's all I ask.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all,
That's really up to Yoko Taro, though. I mean, that dude, that dude and stuff like that, the guy's instrumental in terms of this whole Nier series and stuff like that. I mean, what did we have here? We had the original Nier, which is that was I had 2011, 2012, no, 2010, I think it was. And then
It's a
you
Japanese
had,
one.
yep, you had that. You have also Nier Replicant, which was a PS3 game only like in
Yeah.
Japan, which re-released like about a year or two
Yeah.
ago on actual like PS4 and
And
stuff like
it's
that in
based off of
Steam.
Dragon's Guard. It's like
But of course, like Nier Automata, when that came out, that
seven
was friggin'
goddamn years ago.
exactly. So it doesn't. I really am surprised that they have not gone with a sequel to
Yeah.
Nier
And the
Automata
game was like
because
sold
that's like a no-brainer.
several million copies. I don't know why they haven't like even done another one. And obviously it's popular if they keep doing like they put remasters out of the old one. What the fuck are we doing? God damn it. Drive me god. What the fuck is he up to? Jesus. Take off the
Dude,
goddamn
they
helmet,
actually
get to
put
work.
like a version of like like Automata and stuff on Switch too, and that was a good
You know what?
seller for that system too.
PlayStation want me to fucking buy a remaster. I'll pay full fucking price for a goddamn remaster of fucking Nier Automata on a goddamn PS5. That's a game that actually really could use a fucking remaster because there's some that game was kind of old, like was not aged the best when it came out. So if we can get a modern version of that game, it'd be fucking fantastic. Um,
Especially if it has Stellar Blade in
I don't even care. As long as two B's in the goddamn thing, I don't even care.
it.
Just give me the goddamn game. I just want to fucking play the goddamn. I want a new version of the goddamn. I'm about to just go out and buy it. Fucking play Nier Automata again, just to feel something again. Next up though, actually no, I take that back. I felt something on Tuesday during the state of play when they revealed Ghost of Yotai coming 2025. This is going to take place in northern Japan in 1603. No idea. So basically playing as like a Ronin. I guess from what I understand, like I kind of like I've learned a lot about this area. This part, like I believe, like this part of Japan wasn't actually a Japan at this point in time, and so this is gonna delve into probably how like this became part of. I don't know. Anyways, Ghost of Yotai. We got like a 3 minute trailer here. Got a little bit of gameplay. Most of some like CG stuff, but fuck yeah, man. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. It was our overall game of the year in 2020.
Yes, it was.
So I am totally down to play. Like I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people upset about like Jin Sakai not being back, and like they kind of like left it where like, I mean not a cliffhanger, but like there's more to the story of Jin Sakai. But like I thought of like a lot of like a lot of like the newer characters like in the last like decade of like PlayStation games. I thought like to me like he was there was nothing like amazing about him. So like I'm not bummed out about him not coming back and like I don't know. It's like especially they're gonna jump around, go to different areas, and like do different timelines. Fuck yeah, do it. They looked incredible, especially when the part where like shows her running with all of the like the horses in the game. I'm like, oh my god, like my heart skipped a beat. It looks so fucking cool. But yeah, this is gonna be a day one goddamn buy for me. What about you?
Well, yes, I'll tell you what, man, that game definitely looked impressive when they did reveal it. I mean, not just like the cutscene aspect. I mean, we were kind of expecting things to be looking pretty and stuff. I mean, Sucker Punch did a fantastic job with Ghost of Tsushima, and like for this reveal, I mean, there's nothing like different from it. I mean, there's a lot of great, pretty landscape, a lot of pretty landscapes and stuff. That mountain scene when they first left, that was excellent. That's excellent. It's a good old scope and scale and stuff, and like how the vividness. And it doesn't really surprise me that they're going to be releasing this like in the year, like just next year
Mm-hmm.
in general and stuff to coincide with the PlayStation 5 Pro and stuff. Because think of it this way, it's like they need like showcase pieces and stuff for like PlayStation 5 Pro and stuff, and that's going to be one of those
God,
centerpieces
yeah,
alongside of like
maybe the
Horizon and
best
all
game
that
to
other
show
shit.
off like the graphical improvements, I guess, because like that's one like Ghost of Tsushima is one of the like most gorgeous games I've ever played.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what this definitely isn't like a full-on sequel, but it definitely is like it definitely looks like a different story based upon like that same universe and stuff. Different character, like obviously that same sort of like Ronin sort of style and stuff to where she's like a wanderer and stuff, and like you have like even like the symbolic kind of nature of some like of a lone
Mm-hmm.
wolf because clearly you're seeing frequent like appearances of a wolf,
Yeah.
like some dripping blood, like the whole like uncertainty of being a lone wolf or something like that. I mean, normally in terms of that type of a nature and stuff, a lot of like the loner just rogue type of characters like that are kind of fascinating in terms of the whole like those sort of like samurai era sort of things and stuff. So it's going to be interesting seeing a lot of what this story will be pertaining to because that's probably one of the more curious ones about this because I know from everything else I've seen it looks excellent, the visual fidelity looks fine, the gameplay sort of looks similar to that of the original game, but we didn't see too much
Yeah.
combat. We saw like just basic like just exploring and like doing this and that, just basically the meat and potatoes of what you're going to be doing. The only thing we haven't seen too much of is actual full on combat, especially when it goes to in towns or like against specific sort of like boss characters or whatsoever. I don't even think we're going to be seeing that probably until like around either the game like the whole freaking video game awards show. Possibly we may
Yeah.
see more of that, or maybe even like maybe mid 2025.
Yeah.
I would probably think we'd probably be seeing more of footage of that game before thought for
Summer Game
the Summer's
Fest.
Game Fest next
Yeah.
year or something. But yeah, I'm fairly excited to seeing how this game's going to progress.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought it was a great way to end it. I thought overall, like I talked about, we kind of like talked about last week because we pretty much knew that this was happening. Um, I think this is the thing I've been talking about for like really the last handful of like state of plays or showcases. Like PlayStation needs to like, they've had a good stream of like games coming out. Like we talk about like they had like God of War Ragnarok a couple years ago. Then last year they had Spider-Man 2. Earlier this year we had like Helldivers 2. We had Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I know these are like these are exclusives. We had
Hmm.
Rise of the Ronin. Not Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah, Rise of the Ronin released this
Yeah,
year.
Stellar Blade. We had Astro Bot just a few weeks ago, but like the big, huge, like tentpole things that you come to PlayStation for, we don't. After like Spider-Man 2 came out last year, like we don't really know what they are. And like I've been saying this for the last few
Hmm.
times. Like cool, like for the first time in a long time, like we don't really know. Like we usually have 3 or 4 big games coming from them that we know are coming, and for the first time in a long time, we don't really know what those big games are. And
Right.
yeah, I think that this is what they needed. Like, like starting off one, like, all right, Ghost Shima, that was, it's 4 years ago when this comes out, it'll be about 5 years. So yeah, it makes sense that, if this comes out next year, it'd be fantastic. Obviously things get delayed, but I think they needed, like, even if like this gets delayed next year, like, I think right now they need it. They just needed to like show like, hey, it's like, I think that's been, like I've been saying for a while, like PlayStation's biggest issue is like, just like a lot of question marks. Like, okay, what's going on here? What's everybody doing? Like, yeah, we have pretty good ideas what they're doing, but like I think a lot of people just need to see it. And like, obviously, like we're the hardcore. So yeah, we're like we pay attention to stuff maybe a little bit more. But I think like, the casual audience is like they like this. Like when they see this, is gonna get thrown in their face. Like, oh shit, the next Ghost game is coming next year. Yeah, fuck yeah, like that. Get more people to get excited to play this thing, and it makes you more excited for having a PlayStation. So um, I thought overall, I thought this was like a really good state of play, kind of grading on a curve there. Like
Mm.
this is not a showcase. This is not like their like S tier thing. But I think state of plays sometimes we like it's kind of like we talk about like some of those like partner directs or like the third party stuff or like indies events or whatever. It's like sometimes you watch it and like nothing's like that was a waste of my time. Sometimes you watch it and there's like man, there's like 4 or 5 things in there. I'm really excited to play. Um, and I thought like for a state of play, like, I thought this was like a pretty good one. I'm like an 8. Obviously, like ending on Ghost of Yotai is like kind of cheating a little bit maybe, but like I thought overall a pretty good one. There's a lot of solid games coming up over the next I mean obviously some of these are gonna come to other platforms, but I thought a good chunk of these like there's a handful of games here that I'm excited to check out or I'm looking forward to like seeing more of. Or they're on my radar now at the very least. So and then we have one really great game that I'm like a day one by. So yeah, probably like an 8 out of
Mm.
10. What about you, Gables?
For me, there were definitely plenty of like little aspects and stuff, and there were some kind of questionable things that I was thinking like, okay, this isn't really not interesting for me at all.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
there was plenty of stuff that did appeal to me. Obviously, the retro aspects of games like the whole Lunar Collection, then Soul Raver 1 and 2. I did like the I did like the whole expanding, like say the speed run levels and stuff for Astro Bot. I'm definitely looking forward to that type of stuff. But obviously the Stellar Blade slash Near Automata crossover and stuff I thought was pretty cool too. I haven't really delved into Stellar Blade, but I'm getting fairly interested in wanting to play it. But yeah, Ghost of Yotai, that looks awesome and stuff. Overall, I felt like this state of play was like a 7 out of 10 for me, and that's because there are plenty of things that I would want to play from this, but there are also plenty more where I'm like just like, nah, I'm not interested.
Yeah, yeah, you'll have that. I think it was like fuck, it was a Geo from like play. He said a long time ago, it was like when you watch these things, like we know like we're gonna throw 30 things at you, but like 3 stick with you, that's a win. And like yeah, coming out of this was like 4 or 5 that I was excited to play. So next up though here, some of this like I feel like Capcom like honestly they had a whole like showcase. Unless you want like a 30-minute deep dive on like Monster Hunter Wilds, you can just skip it. Um,
Hmm.
Xbox had theirs though. We got a Metal Gear Solid Sneakier trailer. Um, StarCraft 1 and 2 remasters coming to PC Game Pass on November 5th. Threads of Time is coming in 2025. A lot of people like I've seen were saying this is like a kind of looks like almost like a modern day Chrono Trigger. But it looked gorgeous. Katamari, Reroll, and Plus Royale are out now on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Sin Duality, Echo of Ada, is coming January 24th. People don't remember this was like at like multiple like I'm talking like 2020, 2021, multiple like PlayStation state of plays, and we haven't heard about it
Mm.
from a long time, and then just finally
Right.
showed up here at the Xbox thing. It's kind of when I see it, it's almost like a multi excuse me, almost like a multiplayer. Like, is it Diva in Overwatch that like you can jump out of the mech?
Yep.
It almost reminds me of like that. Of like it's like a 4 player shooter game where you can like jump in and out of the mech is what it looks like to me. But that's coming in January. Suikoden 1 and 2 remasters coming March 6th. Final
Mm.
Fantasy Pixel remasters are out now on Xbox, and then Trials of Mana and Legends are also on Game Pass now. So, uh,
Wow.
not too much. That's kind of like I mean, there's some cool stuff that we're looking forward to, but that's kind of what was there. Kind of the last thing we'll talk about here before we get to what we've been playing. Kind of big news. So apparently there was like a Assassin's Creed Shadows like preview event that was supposed to happen, I believe, this week, and
Mm-hmm.
sometime last week they just kind of canceled it out of nowhere. Then they also were supposed to have a TGS event. Um, they kind of showed off, and they canceled that at the last minute. Kind of find out that this game I believe was supposed to come out November 15th. It got delayed to February 14th, 2025. They announced a lot of major changes too with kind of what Ubisoft was doing. So if you look at Ubisoft, like a lot of like their pre-orders they've been doing for a long time now is like there's like the base edition's like 70, then I think it's like $100 if you want this middle tier, and then there's like the $130
Mm.
tier that gets you like everything and early access. I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to them. But yeah, so they're doing away with that. At least from what I looked at the pre-order like on PlayStation 5, and right now all they have is a $70 pre-order. So I'm guessing that means like they're doing away with like the $100 and $130 thing. But some of the big things they're talking about here is they're coming to Steam day one from now on. They've tried doing the whole thing like if you want to buy like if you want to play Ubisoft games, and we see a lot of companies do this. Um, like EA's done this, Call of Duty's done this. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard, Activision, uh, Microsoft even did it for a while. Epic's done it, but like a lot of these studios eventually have come back to Steam or like, and we've seen like Ubisoft kind of do like the best of both worlds because like they're on like the Ubisoft like whatever their PC service is, but also they come to Epic on day one, and Epic has a deal with people like if you have a 6 month exclusivity to Epic, you get 100% of like the revenue. So instead of doing the 70-30 split, you just get 100% of that. And we've seen like Borderlands 3 do this and a bunch of other games. Hitman done this in the past as well. Hitman 3. They did this just recently with this year with Prince Persia: The Lost Crown. And obviously that game did not like I think it only sold a few 100,000 copies in the first like couple months it was out. So and they talked about basically like Star Wars Outlaws came out back in August. They said it didn't live up to the sales are soft for is what they said. And obviously a lot of complaints about the game coming out was the game came out, the review codes went out 4 days before the embargo went out. So basically
Mm-hmm.
made a bunch of like reviewers have to play the game in 4 days, and then also there's a lot of bugs and issues with it. And I talked about it, like there's a lot of problems with that game. I thought like the more time I put into it, the more I liked it. And at the end of the game, I came away very positive with it. But I thought about like the first 4 or 5 hours are very rough, and if you fall off during that, like I don't blame you. But they did a big patch that like kind of fixed that and made it a lot easier for people in the beginning. Like the one like instant fail with the stealth mission, like they totally fixed that, which is like one of the worst parts of that first few hours. They put out a roadmap as well for Star Wars Outlaws. They've like multiple big patches are coming the next few months, and then on November 21st, it's coming to Star Wars Outlaws is coming to Steam, and also though like that's when the first big like DLC pack is coming as well. So, but also the other things like I said, like for now on, uh, Ubisoft games are coming to Steam day one as well as other platforms. Getting rid of season passes overall. There will still be like DLC and expansion stuff later on. They did say though for Assassin's Creed Shadows, if you pre-order the game, you get the first DLC pack for free. Um, no idea what that means for like next ones later on. Are they going to make more? I assume so because they have plans for it. Um, but the other big thing they mentioned here was that this 3 month delay will cost Ubisoft $22 million. So um, we talk about the
Yeah.
prices of gaming and how much it costs to make it. Think about the fact that like 3 months of this, 3 months of developing a game basically is costing. I mean, this is like we talk about forever. Games cost more money than ever to make, and the prices are kind of getting insane. $22 million for 3 months more of development time. But they said the game is content complete. It's just a matter of like just getting rid of like all the bugs and have the game come out and be quality and when it comes out. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, um,
Mhm.
what was your kind of your thoughts on this one, Gables?
Honestly, I'm really surprised that they did delay it by 3 months. I'm also fairly surprised that they did not try to just release the game as is and stuff. But the more I looked into it, the more I've just got this whole interpretation to where they have no choice but to do this. The delaying for 3 months and stuff, not just restructuring that, but also in terms of like just the perception of the game itself. This game's been no stranger to controversy. A lot of aspects that they have been doing, they're going back and just trying to make this sort of game kind of like the most appeasing as possible to try to get players to actually go and buy this game. Even though with the previous release for Star Wars Outlaws, from what I have seen and from what I have read in terms of like some bits of reviews from players and stuff, there are some players that feel like that game was good, but at the same time the perception of it is what led to sort of like lacking sales for that initial game to start
Mm-hmm.
with. And that is partial the reason where I feel like Ubisoft is sort of panicking a little bit to where they don't want something similar here to happen to Assassin's Creed Shadows because this initial like bit of like firestorm stuff that's been going on in terms of like the of like this game and in terms of like say with gamers and stuff from Japan as well as multiple other things that have like compiled itself into amalgamation of sort of like a PR mess is definitely affecting certain people wanting to pre-order that game, wanting to give it a shot. And so it's like we're just seeing it right now. We're seeing them saying that they're going to be going through and release this game on Steam as well as Star Wars Outlaws. They're definitely going to try to at least do whatever they can initially do to try to patch up certain glitches or certain like other things they needed to polish and stuff. But I will say this, for them delaying it like 2 or 3 months and stuff, look at what they're going to be trying to release this game
Yeah,
into.
February
It's
is a
going to be
bloodbath.
during it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It definitely kind of feels like to me that they're also kind of doing this to say, oh, okay, well, this is probably this is kind of like a release spot to where if that game does initially die, they're going to go forth and say, "Oh, these big games are releasing alongside this thing." Of course, it was just that game that just came out and just was completely forgotten about because of how many good games at the time, this and that, which in of itself is not a smart this business decision in that aspect, but at the same point, it's like they're kind of left with hardly any choice but to go the route of delaying this game
Yeah.
because the the more time they can actually put into ironing out some aspects that gamers themselves had issues with, especially with a lot of the payment models that this game had, especially with a lot of like the issues and some of the gameplay which some people had with it, that definitely is a positive to have it delayed a little bit. But at the same point though, it's like I'm really uncertain like if this game is going to say like be as profitable as what Ubisoft initially thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But there's a lot left. There's definitely a lot left to see before the initial decisions here. If this game releases during that busy, crowded month and stuff, I think it was like what
Yeah.
February is it
February 14th.
releasing? February 14th. This is the same month as Monster Hunter Wilds, as well as a couple other big name games that are
Like a Dragon.
releasing.
Um,
Dragon, what's that?
like a Dragon's coming out in February.
Like a
There's a
Dragon.
bunch. There's
Yeah,
like 4 or 5 big
that's
games
another
coming
one.
out in February.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 big games in competing here with Assassin's Creed Shadows and stuff. So, unless this game is like nines across the board, or just there's a lot of interesting aspects about this game, it's not going to be a fairly good like month for Ubisoft.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what I kind of feel about it.
yeah, and it's gonna hurt. Just missing the holiday sales is like the sale. Like you're gonna lose sales just off that alone. Like no one, more people buy video games in November and December than any other month of the year. So especially when you're the hot new release coming out, at that point in time, it's gonna really hurt. Um, yeah, but I think like Ubisoft, like I mean, we've been talking about for years now. Ubisoft has like been in a kind of a weird spot where they
Yeah.
were the trendsetters for so long, and then in the last 4 or 5 years, they've been like putting out all these like almost kind of in a weird way, like Square Enix is having the same issue where like they just kind of put all these like games out and like They just kind of come out and like what experience like 1 year put like 30 something games in like one year
Mm-hmm.
stretch. Um, Ubisoft not to that level, but like we've seen all these like these games come out and they reveal these games and they get canceled. They announce they get canceled. And, oh no, actually we're gonna like go back like and work on it with like they just like they've had like a half dozen or more like live service games in like development at one time, and
Mm-hmm.
like they put out these games like there's like Roller Champions that came out like I don't know where it just kind of came out. There's like a Marble Madness style game that came out like in June of this year. No one ever heard about that. I didn't hear about that. The only reason I saw it was like a random trailer. It was like a sizzle reel during like Summer Game Fest. Like that's the only reason I know it exists. Um, yeah, so like and obviously like they like and the bigger games like Avatar kind of came out, but it kind of came out like it came out like December, which is like the worst time of the year to put out a brand new game. Um,
Yeah,
so like
it was just out. Yeah, it just came out and stuff. There was little talk about it and stuff. People did try it, but it was quickly forgotten
yeah,
when the new year started.
yeah, and like the reviews were like I think it was like high sevens, so like it was good, but it wasn't like blow you over like blow people over the top and like I don't like like I said coming out in mid December is like that is like you put a game goes out to die basically in December like after
Mm-hmm.
basically after Black Friday like you're better off just waiting to next year.
Yep.
But yeah like I just think that like Ubisoft like we talk about is like they've been in a weird spot like they put all these games out like nothing's clicking for them anymore. Just kind of like you like I've said over and over again. Sometimes it feels like they just put these games out like and like there's almost like you can almost like we're not like a lot of times like obviously sometimes we're wrong about I'm wrong all the time about what I think of like games. I think like going into like when I see a game like oh this game our predictions on things like I'm probably wrong more than I'm right. Um, but like um, I lost a train of thought there. It's gone.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. But sorry anyway it is 1:30 in the morning here my time so it's a little late. But yeah no say this all the time. Oh yeah, okay, I got it again. But like they put these games out, and like you can like we're not idiots, like for a lot of times like they put a game out, you can kind of feel there's not a lot of passion behind them, and they're just kind of
Yep.
coming out to like come out, and like I think sometimes people like we see that sometimes in these games like like X is fine, it kind of comes out. Like I had an audience at first, but couldn't retain it. And like it seems like it's doing okay, but it's definitely like kind of fallen off a cliff of like kind of where it was at the beginning. Like Star Wars Outlaws kind of come out, and like yeah, I think the problem is that game coming in hot. You basically a bunch of reviewers had like 4 or 5 days to play this game for embargo. So it's like if I had to play a 20 to 30 hour game, and I was like I had to play it for my job in like a few days, even if it's I don't care. It's video games. If I have to do something like this, even still like a game that like had a lot of bugs and issues, and that first 4 hours, 5 hours was not good. I probably would have disliked it a lot too if I had to do that. So I don't blame them. And I'm not sitting trying to. I'm not trying to say this game. Oh, it's 9 out of 10 if you give it time. I still think it's like a 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Um, but like yeah, like hindsight, this probably like Star Wars Outlaws probably should have been the big November game, and then Assassin's Creed should have been the big like come out early next year. Obviously, like I said, out of the fire into the frying pan here of February now. But yeah, I don't yeah like Assassin's Creed is like it's their biggest franchise, that and Far Cry, and with all the issues they're having going on with a lot of the games they're making with just like the quality of the games, even if the games come out and they're good, like they're not selling like they are, and like this is like a problem across the board. Like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, like come out, and Square Enix came out this week and said that they did not live up to sales expectations, and like Final Fantasy 16 was sold 3 million copies in the first week out, and it's like,
Yeah.
and that didn't live up to expectations. So, what are the expectations? And we see sometimes with these games where like they have to come out and they can't just make enough money to like, like I think like the goal is to make 15% back on like, whatever. Say you make a game, it costs you $100 million. You want to make $115 million back in revenue, and that's typically the goal for video games. But sometimes games are made like they need them to make up and recoup the cost of other games that come out and then fail. And who knows, maybe like that's the case with some of these things where it's like, hey, these three other things flopped, so we need this thing to hopefully come out and make up the revenue we lost off of these. And like that overall is a disappointment. Like and also like Square Enix and sales disappointments kind of go hand in hand. But I don't know, like yeah, like I don't think Star Wars Outlaws didn't light the world on fire. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadow comes out and it's in a rough shape from from like glitches and technical issues. Like yeah, like you're hurting. Like yeah, you're gonna like it's. I wouldn't be shocked if like Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out in November, if it did come out in November still, and it's like the best selling Assassin's Creed of all time. This is the first we haven't had Assassin's Creed game since November, October 2020, Valhalla. And Valhalla is the best-selling Assassin's Creed of all time. So there's a huge audience that still loves these games. And this game, I'm sure this game will still do fine. But like, it's like the thing we talked about before with Assassin's Creed. What was the one that was super buggy and broken?
Unity.
Unity, thank you. And then the next one, that was the best-selling one of all time. And then the next one came
Syndicate.
out, and it was one of the worst-selling ones of all time. Even though that one was really, really good, and it was great. It was actually one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games, but I had to pay the price for the next one, or for the previous one.
Mm.
And Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out, and it's a buggy and a mess, and like it hurts. It just hurts the brand of Assassin's Creed. The next one's gonna pay the price for it. So I think it's smart, and like yeah, like you're definitely gonna lose sales, missing the holiday, but also coming out in February. Or February's, like I said, it's gonna be a bloodbath. We talked about like last year. Like I think big problem with last year was like we had all these great games come out that did not like some of them just didn't light the world on fire as far as sales go. Part of that was because they were like all coming out on top of each other, so they'd have like a
Yep.
day or two in the sun, and then they would
There's
like the
no
next big thing come
breathing
out.
room.
So yeah, I don't know. I obviously like there's a long stretch there where Ubisoft was like my favorite game developer, and I hope I root for this game to do well, and like I am actually like there's a part of me that like really wants to play that game because like there's a big part of me that still loves Assassin's Creed, even though like I haven't cared for Valhalla didn't click for me. I loved Odyssey. The one before that, Origins, I did not really care for. But there's part of me that like this game like to me looks fantastic, but it's like also I don't want to play 80 hours of a 80-hour Assassin's Creed game. I do not want to play. So I don't know. Like part of me is like I'm rooting for the Ubisoft to turn the shit around. But I think I don't know. I think Yves Guillemot probably should have left a long time ago. And I've said this isn't like, like I said this a few years ago was like he needed to leave. Obviously, like he did a great job of like, 10 years ago, really turning that company around where they were, nearly taken over by Vivendi. And they made like that company was the hottest it's ever been just not too long ago. So and we see this all the time. All it takes is a couple, a couple of big games or a couple of big things come out and it hits and you can turn the whole company around. We see this time and time again with like, PS3 to PS4, Wii to Wii U to Switch. Like this shit happens. It only takes one or two to really turn the momentum around, and all of a sudden you're hot again. But also it takes one or two misses, and you're down in the dumps again. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think maybe I don't see too much of this turning around as long as Yves Guillemot there, because the company just right now just kind of seems kind of rudderless. But let's get into what we've been playing. Gables, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first, buddy?
Let's go ahead and have you go first.
Okay. I've only been playing one game. I picked up Zelda. Is it Echoes of Wisdom or Age of Wisdom?
Echoes of
Thank you. I
Wisdom.
don't know why I keep wanting to say Age of Wisdom, but it's happening. So I'm probably going to keep saying that throughout the however long I talk about this game. But yeah, I started playing it. I'm probably only played about 5 hours or so. I don't like it.
You don't
I
like
don't
it?
like it. I'm not digging with it. And like I had those concerns initially when the game was first revealed a few months ago. Um, I don't really care for the copy mechanic. Like it's kind of cool, but also it's kind of like it's almost a way like sometimes like when I play like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, right? You just find like the easiest thing to do to like just like or like Tears of the Kingdom, like there's like that one of the temples you go into the one in the volcano, and like I just totally broke it by just making long bridges to everything, and like oh like well they kind of like I'm like all right this is way easier, and it like kind of sucked the fun out of it, but it's also like why am I gonna do the hard way when I could just make long bridges to solve every puzzle? And this game kind of has the same issue with like you could just make beds and stack them on top of each other, and like they get to everything. And then there are elements that limit you. You can only make so many of certain things, and certain things require like more power or whatever to do them. Like certain enemies you can
Hmm.
like make copies of, or certain like a desk or a chair or a bed or whatever. But I don't know, I love the world. I love the music. I love the characters. I love everything that's Zelda about it. Um, I just when it comes to playing the game, I just don't care for it. Like
Hmm.
the puzzles are not overly hard. I would say they're not like some of them are like pretty brain dead easy, but like some of them are like I'd say that even the hardest ones are like I know what I gotta do. It's just a matter of doing them, and they're not crazy hard. Um, and there is like a lot of like combat elements of the game, and the combat like you can like you can do the copy mechanic and like create your enemies to come out and fight them, and like there are like certain enemies that work better against other ones, but like the AI is so fucking stupid and frustrating that like they take forever to attack. Half time they attack, they get killed before they get the first attack in. Um, And like when they do attack, it takes them forever to knock out enemies. That it's just like, and there's you can like usually run away for some of them, but then there are other elements where you do have to fight and take out enemies. There's a good chunk of them, and like you do like spoilers for the first dungeon. You like fight like basically like a Dark Link, and you like get his sword and stuff. But like you can like basically turn into Link, but like you know like the magic bar and like top down Zelda games, like it's
Mm-hmm.
basically like a magic bar is like you can turn into Link, and like so it runs down and like you gotta like you can find orbs to like refill it over, and you can find them pretty easily. But it's like it just kind of feels like a cop out where like, all right, cool, here's a combat section, just turn to Link and now fight. It's like we built this entire game around like this copy mechanic, but like it's almost like a crutch in a way where it's just like, cool, all right, cool, yeah. Well, here goes the combat part. Every boss fight you play requires you basically to turn into Link and fight and like defeat the boss. Like I don't know, it's just not click for me. And like I'm obviously in the minority here. Like all the reviews are like fantastic for the game. Um, but everybody I've talked to that's played the game kind of thinks I'm a psychopath, like for that opinion. So obviously I'm the minority, but like this was my concern going into it was like I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't care for it, and I don't. I just think it's kind of boring. But I've played the first two dungeons. I want at least like it seems like it has like the standard like there's like it gives you like the three dungeons you can do them in any order. Like and then like you probably something will happen and then you'll like unlock the next map and there's gonna be more dungeons. So I at least want to get through the next dungeon and maybe something will click for me there. Uh, but I'm not like there's like I'm not really seeing like what that thing might. There's like I'm not seeing any light here in this tunnel of like what's gonna like make me it clicks for me now. I don't know if it's there, but I don't know. I'm not vibing with it, and I'm kind of stunned by it because
Mm.
I was pretty excited for this one, especially because I haven't played it like it's been a while since I played a Switch game, so I was kind of excited to play a game on my Switch. Yeah, and I just yeah, it's fine. What about you, Gables?
Okay, so let me tell you about the game stuff that I've done this past week. Well, I got the platinum for Vampire Survivors. That is one thing that happened.
You're a fucking psychopath.
And I played so much of that one. I did all the initial things that I've done before that I've already talked about on this podcast with different versions. Only this time, I actually did spend quite a bit of time getting the platinum trophy for it. I'm incredibly happy that I've done so. And now that sits for like another year, probably until I feel like I want to play that type of game again. But no, most of this week I've played through and I beat Astro Bot.
Nice, nice.
Astro Bot, dude. Not only did I beat this game, I went through every single level. I collected almost everything. Actually, no, I did collect everything inside of this game. All the Astrobots, like 300 and some odd.
Five.
If you say
Yeah,
305?
it's 305.
Okay. So I did get like that sort of. I did get all the Astrobots and stuff like that. I did collect all the puzzle pieces. I did initially go through and like in specific parts. Let's just say this. I'm 97% done with the trophy list of this damn thing, and now I just have three more to unlock, which is basically two level specific ones that I have to do like combat wise, then I will unlock the platinum.
Nice.
But let me tell you something. Every single world, every single level, there's some homage or some excellent core mechanic with this thing like in order for you to just progress further and a lot of the creativity is just oozing out of each level. It doesn't matter whether if there's like a level that's based on say, well, God of War Ragnarok or if it's like for Ape Escape or even some of the later ones and stuff like that though where there's like a level that's not entirely like a Resident Evil theme but like you do have like say you do find like Chris Redfield and Jill
Mm-hmm.
Valentine and stuff and let me tell you something. Collecting a whole bunch of these different character theme ones and then going to that freaking gotcha machine and then getting every single one of those little gotcha machine like little things, the little accessories and stuff. It was so fun, especially right before we were recording. I turn on Astrobot, I go around that whole crash site and stuff, and I see all these different characters that I've either have enjoyed journeys with on PlayStation or I have enjoyed playing in some other like some other consoles as well. It's like you just literally see like say there's a section here for like MGS characters, right? And so it's like you have Solid Snake inside of a cardboard box, and you have Psycho Mantis like on top of a TV set and stuff. And if you hit like certain characters or something like that, they have these initial reactions or something. One of the more funnier ones, like I said with Crash Bandicoot and stuff, you hit him and stuff, but you can actually like try to dance with him, and it can actually dance like Crash Bandicoot and stuff, like mimicking that stuff. The game just feels like it's pure joy. It's pure joy aimed towards people that are longtime PlayStation fans, or not just longtime PlayStation fans, but just like longtime like video game fans. Because yes, a lot of these franchises were on PlayStation and stuff, but yet are on other consoles or other like systems now. In that retrospect, we're talking about Resident Evil, we're talking about Tomb Raider and stuff, just to name a few. But I absolutely enjoyed going through every single level, collecting every single thing, and I was definitely happy in terms of a lot of the boss fights and a lot of the secrets in this aspect. Final battle, epic. I'm not going to spoil anything in regards to that. But let me just say this, though. It does reward you if you collect every single Astro Bot,
Mm-hmm.
it, as well as defeating the final boss. And I will say that once this other thing unlocks and stuff, you're going to want to do that. And it's hard as hell. And it's fucking awesome when you go through and you finish it. Because there's a big old payoff that is so reminiscent, and it is a callback to the original PlayStation stuff. I won't say what it is, but if you try to do it, Tyler, or some, or try to attempt to do it and stuff, it's gonna click
Yeah.
with you. It's gonna be,
You talking about like the
hopefully, it's gonna be
you talking about the
awesome.
Champions Road thing?
Champions Road. Oh, you mean
You talking about
the
the very very last level, or are you talking about the last like story boss?
let's see, not the last level. I'm not talking about the final boss. I'm talking after.
Yeah, the when you get the three all three. Yeah, that I tried it. I spent like 30-40 minutes on it, and I had to walk away.
Oh, the Grand Master level.
Yeah, no, I had to walk away. I
Oh, you actually okay, so you have
I
played
I've
it.
attempted it. Yes. I
You've attempted
yeah
it.
I that's the only trophy I have yet to get is that one. I'm gonna come back eventually.
Oh,
I just for I played so much that my anger levels. I was worried what would happen to everything I owned if I continue to play it. So
well, I will say this right now. I did pass that level last night.
yeah,
I did have to restart about 20 or 30 different times,
show off.
I believe. Yeah, at least about 20 or 30 different times and stuff. It took me a good solid like 20, maybe 25 minutes or so like that to get through it because I'm trying to memorize the different patterns and stuff and try to evade certain creatures and certain aspects. They want you to process things on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am like about 12:30 or 1 in the morning or something like that, or close to 1 in the morning, and here I am playing this damn level, and then I just am so compelled to just finish this level. And once I finally did that, and then I get towards the end of that level, and then you meet a specific like, you know, they mention like a specific character, not like actual in specifics, but they mentioned that there is someone that wants to meet you and stuff like that. And let's just say that whole level and then the final payoff, it makes a ton of sense when you think of what who the character
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it for Tyler, nor am I going to spoil it for anybody listening in. If you own a PS5, you owe it upon yourself to play Astro Bot. This game is literally one of the best games of the year, and it's definitely one of, I want to say this is definitely in the top 10 PlayStation 5 games. This is the top one of the top 5 games on this system.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. PS5.
So,
Yeah. Top five.
absolutely. And yeah, this is on my top 10 list of this for this year because it was consistent all the way through. There was hardly any low points. Yes, there were frustrations because I couldn't pass certain levels quick enough than I thought. Yes, this did challenge me in terms of like platformer skills and stuff like that. But at the same time, everything felt like retreading a bunch of my past as a gamer, not just with PlayStation, but just gaming in general. and then encountering the different characters I've grown up like either playing games or franchises of playing different games from, all these references, all these different systems, all these different like accessories and stuff, and all these random funny moments and stuff like that that you weren't expecting and stuff, and then all of a sudden you go through all the initial nebulas, all the initial like boss stuff, and then there's like secret levels that unlock even after that. And when you collect everything, there's so much bang for your buck. And I kid you not, I think I've spent close to about a 40 to 45 hours on Astro Bot itself because it's so chock full of awesome stuff. So, yeah, yeah, it's crazy to think, but in this month of September, or this last remaining month of September, I think I've actually close to unlocking not one, not two, but three platinum
Hmm.
trophies. We're talking about Marvel Fighting Collection. We're talking Vampire Survivors, and I'm now like two trophies away from unlocking a platinum for Astro Bot.
Yeah, and those ones are pretty easy to get. I got those all like in like an hour. So
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. But that's what I've been playing for this week.
All right.
Uh,
Well, I think this is gonna wrap it up for this week, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed all this. Please, like I said, top of the show, like, follow, subscribe, check us out. With everything, we're two guys. We have full-time jobs. We just do this for fun. So if you can support us by hitting that thumbs up button, 5-star reviews,
mm.
comments, share with your friends, subscribe, so whatever you can do to help us out, we really would appreciate it. Uh, Links down below in the description. But I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, play some freaking Astro Bot, dude.
Yeah,
It is an amazing game.
you goddamn right. And Gables,
Yeah,
I am Astrobot.
I am Astrobot.
Bye, guys.
See ya.